Hey, welcome to the Prospect Talk podcast.
We're lit out here. Let's go.
Out here. We got some music finally.
About time, boys. About time.
I feel like this beat's dope right here.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a long time coming.
I feel like I kind of got a little spit on it a little bit, maybe.
It's tight. I like it.
How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. You know.
I mean, it's a great day in Orlando, Florida. Beautiful weather going on right now. Nando, how's the weather in Virginia?
Weather's actually feeling pretty good right now. I'm excited, a little warmer. Season's turning up, so feeling pretty good.
Damn, I feel like we got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
I feel like since the last time we've recorded, there's so much things that's
a lot of sports stuff
populated in the sports world.
I mean, I think the first thing we got to talk about, obviously, is, the big thing is, the finale to March Madness.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it was a great game. Went to overtime.
Good game, yeah, absolutely. Virginia.
The team we doubted the whole year.
Yeah, we talk so much crap
round
about.
one.
I think we are on record talking. I know I am. I've talked so much crap about Virginia.
Facts.
Looks like they weren't pretenders this year, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great story for them, though. Going from last year being bounced out by a 16 seed in the first round.
The redemption year.
Coming back out with practically the same team, and winning the championship, which is dope.
It's crazy. Like,
speaking of winning, shout out to what's his name? Victor
from Tampa.
Victor from Tampa.
Yes, he is the winner of our Prospect Talk Bracket Challenge. I apologize for Doug for absolutely butchering that segue, but it's all good.
Oh my God.
It's all good. I think we were gonna try to go past it, but I think we gotta own that.
It's
that
all good.
That was pretty rough. But no, for real. Shout out to Victor, first annual Prospect Talk Bracket Challenge.
Yeah, he had Virginia winning, so that's what brought him to the top. So congrats, bro.
He's getting that Amazon gift card, which we'll be sending out to him pretty soon. So appreciate everyone that participated in that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, just real quick before Doug cut me off rudely, I was going to mention a little something about Virginia. I think the theme of the tournament for them was resilience, right? They've been down 3 times in the final 20 seconds and still found a way to win. So pretty much against Purdue, they were down 3 with 5 seconds left. They found a way to win that game. Against Auburn, they were down 4 with 17 seconds left. They found a way to win that game.
Yeah.
And then Texas Tech, like we just witnessed, they were down 3 with what they had, I think 15 seconds or something like that.
Close game.
That was
tournament.
a great game. I was going for Texas Tech. I wanted to see them pull it off.
I want to see Pat Mahomes celebrate with his squad. That's what I was rooting for.
I think Travis Kelce was there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Matt Mooney to go off. Like I felt like he had such a great game in the semifinals that I was really rooting for him. He kind of got locked down.
To be honest, I think Texas Tech lost the game more than Virginia won it.
I think so too.
But you got to admit, DeAndre Hunter, the Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, they all had some big shots there down the stretch to make sure that.
Yeah, absolutely. But my point is, Hunter, who made that big 3-point shot to tie the game.
I believe so.
Right?
Yeah.
I have no idea why Texas Tech closed down on the guy going for a layup to give up the wide open 3.
Yep.
If you let him score that layup, you're still up 1.
Yes.
And you get into a free throw game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have no idea why. That's a young mistake.
Flaps on defense.
In all honesty, I think it's that's one of those things where it just kind of proved that they probably weren't a championship team. Championship teams don't make those kind of mistakes.
Crazy part is they've been so solid defensively throughout the entire tournament, throughout the entire year.
Yeah,
it was a big moment, and they're
just
young
one
and
mental
inexperienced. Really showed where Virginia is really experienced.
Yes.
And that kind of showed throughout the later stages of the game.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna kind of miss the March Madness a little bit. I feel like this was one of the first years where all throughout the tournament we got solid quality games, and you didn't really get a lot of blowouts this year.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit more upsets.
Yeah,
throughout the
we didn't
tournament.
have many this year. I feel like we usually have more.
It was a little bit chalky, other than Auburn and Texas Tech, but
I mean Buffalo.
Oh yeah, Buffalo.
Buffalo early on. Murray State. But I think those were the only 2 teams that really picked up any steam.
Yeah, there was no Cinderella team, I think, this year.
It would have been Murray State if they would have gotten to the Elite 8, but unfortunately they didn't.
No, I think they lost in the round of 32. They didn't even make the Sweet 16.
Yeah, they lost their second game.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If that would have been the Cinderella story if they could have gotten there. I feel like they had the best potential to get there. But yeah, no, that was a really good year of college basketball.
What was your favorite game, guys?
I think I would have to go with the championship game with it going on into
I would
overtime.
go with the Duke Michigan State game.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite game. I just love seeing Duke lose. So
Yeah, I don't like seeing
absolutely
Duke
my
lose,
favorite
so
game.
like that I didn't really like that too much.
I was a little hurt with the UCF Duke game, to be honest, but
Yeah, that sucked. That hit us right in the heart.
Yeah.
the heart.
I mean, it is what it is. I don't think any of us kind of went into that game really like expecting UCF to win, just because of the inexperience and there's the talent level. But yeah, so that actually kind of segues us perfectly, right, in terms of just the sports world, right, where now we're getting ready for the NBA playoffs, right?
So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the NBA playoffs. But before we get into the NBA playoffs, let's talk about the guys who impact future NBA teams. Since we were talking about college basketball, and I kind of want to just mention this real quick before we switch off to that. Cam Reddish just declared.
Yes.
Yep.
We have the other boy from Duke,
RJ Barrett.
Yeah,
RJ
shout out
Barrett.
to RJ from Toronto.
So
The six.
that kind of brings up a pretty good point that I wanna bring up. So we have a inside source that wishes to remain
Nameless.
nameless. Yeah.
Anonymous.
To Prospect Talk that is actually pretty close with the Zion Williamson camp. Eli, you want to just delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, so pretty much this source of ours gave us a little insight on what's going on with Zion, because you're seeing his boys, Cam Reddish, RJ, who are really close, especially RJ and Zion, but they're declaring for the draft, and we're all wondering, where's Zion, our future number one pick? And the source of ours was really close with Zion and have had a lot of conversations recently, especially after that Michigan State game, has told us Zion's honestly confused, doesn't know if he's actually going to declare, mostly because he's 17, 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Young.
enjoying being a student at Duke University.
He's enjoying that college lifestyle, the
The
partying
college
stuff.
life. The college life.
Yeah, he's on top of the world right now.
And he might, he has a salty taste of losing to Michigan State and maybe wants to claim that glory. But I think he just wants to be a kid for a little bit before all this pressure, having his world switch upside down and become an adult, going into the NBA.
In my opinion, just from what we've gotten from our source, I don't think he's really ready for the NBA lifestyle. I mean, he's gonna have to start taking like his nutrition seriously, because
Absolutely.
that's one thing that our source kind of gave us like a little insight on, is that that's kind of the reason why he's still a little like
He's
chunkier.
a little chubby. Zion Williamson, accordingly, eats a box of pizza every day.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So you can't be doing that in the NBA. And
Horrible
then,
nutrition.
Yeah, horrible nutrition. And then got a little bit of spicy news here, Doug, if you want to go ahead.
According to our source, Zion actually, along with his boy RJ, and
No, not RJ.
not RJ, my
Cam
bad.
Reddish,
Cam
Trey
Reddish,
Jones.
and who else? I'm sorry.
Trey Jones.
And Trey Jones, apparently hotbox before every Duke game.
So that's their tradition. That's like
Maybe
their,
that's why he's eating too much pizza.
that's their pregame ritual. Yeah, he's getting the munchies.
Get the munchies, right?
So, hey, Zion, if you're listening to this, bro, I'm gonna hit you with the Stephen A. Stay off the weed. It's not good for the NBA lifestyle, bro.
not at all.
This man still has a young mentality, slightly. So it might not be that bad for him to maybe have an extra year to kind of.
Kind of mature a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he's a little childish still, right?
Well, yeah, especially after all that info. And
The thing
I
that
mean-
really sticks out to me is the lack of work ethic. Really.
Well,
yeah, he has no work ethic
Yeah.
at all.
But I mean,
accordingly.
that's what happens when you're uber athletic and you're immature. You rely off of that, and that's for the longest time. I've been telling you guys, I don't think his athleticism is going to translate all that well, because he just doesn't strike me as that kind of player, and it's kind of showing with this. It doesn't seem like he takes it. Well, let me not say that, but it doesn't look like he's taking his development very
As
seriously.
serious,
Yeah,
which
It's
as
a little
serious.
bit disappointing to me because I was a big proponent of Zion being number one, but all the other things I could really forgive. Hotboxing, like there's a lot
I'm
of
sure
NBA
he's not the
players. Yeah,
only
like
guy.
my boy Clay.
So-
It's well known that he smokes before his games, but
My thing is, it hurts his draft stock if he does end up declaring. You know what I mean? and especially if that's something that ends up getting super out there,
But does it really?
in the media.
Do you think something as little as being childish, immature?
Yes.
Well, if you're looking at Zion as a once-in-a-generation talent, you're going to have to overlook a lot of things. And I think that's nothing that's going to diminish his draft stock that much.
But the biggest thing would be the lack of worth ethic.
And that's what I was
Really.
gonna say. I think the biggest thing would be like the lack of worth ethic because that kind of aligns more with his character. So if he tightens that up, then that'll translate better for his career. He's gonna be arguably the biggest pick in the entire draft. So
Yeah.
So
That's if he ends up going, which I guess he's still on the fence according to our source. Which, thank you very much to our inside source that's close to the Zion camp. You know who you are. Appreciate that. But even without him, I feel like we still got a loaded draft.
We
Yeah.
do.
We got
Absolutely.
R.J. Barrett, John Morant, Cam Reddish. You know what I mean? I feel like those are the top 3 picks of the draft. You know what I
Should
mean?
be.
At least should be in my mind. So I think that even if he doesn't come out this year, and I know he's still on the fence and he's still confused, I think it's still the NBA is in good shape with what they got going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to know what's not in good shape? AB and Juju.
Not at all,
How
man.
them Steelers, Nando?
Coming for them throats, man.
Wow.
AB is ruthless.
I thought the Steelers were done with the drama for the offseason, but then here comes freaking AB again.
I'm just so happy there's one offseason that the Dallas Cowboys does not steal all the attention. And
Hey,
the
it's
Pittsburgh
still
Steelers-
early. It's still early.
bro.
Well, Dak just got attacked by a dog, and I know we're going to blow that up because he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But let's talk about Juju and AB. Let's dive into that.
So just so that for anybody that doesn't know, let's just rehash what happened on social media. So the Steelers named Juju their MVP for this past season. AB, I think, kind of took it a little personally, and he tweeted out. I think he quote tweeted the tweet from the Steelers, and he said something along the lines of, he fumbled in the biggest game of the year.
Well,
Like,
yeah, just to get into specifics about that tweet, he was actually getting to it with a fan, and the fan was the one who actually told AB, like, hey, that's why Juju was named the MVP of the Steelers last year.
Gotcha.
And AB kind of replied saying that, well, your MVP fumbled away the whole postseason.
Yes.
right.
That's
and
deep.
That's
hurt.
that's a deep cut. And then Juju replied,
Kind of gracefully,
like he did it like he was humble. He wasn't coming at him or anything like that.
He said initially like keep your emotions on the internet, and then he
Yeah.
kind of, like all I've ever done was show you some respect. I was happy to see you kind of get a good contract when you went out to Oakland, but then you're gonna sit there and take shots at me, like what's up, like why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then AB hit him with the snapshot of the DM from like 4 or 5 years ago.
that's
when,
low.
when Juju was
Yeah,
still
When
at
Juju
USC.
slid in those DMs?
So Juju slid in AB's DMs and was like, "Hey man, I really appreciate like your work ethic and how talented you are. I'm a young wide receiver from USC. Are you able to give me any tips?" Which I don't feel like that's that bad of a DM.
Not
No,
at
but
all.
In the
That's professional.
It's professional. Like if you're not doing
It's a young kid who admires your work and is
Yeah.
reaching out.
yeah, but then to take that like first moment of you guys interacting and throwing it out there as kind of like a slap in the face is super disrespectful.
It's
For
low.
me, it makes Juju look better and AB look worse.
Yes.
I think AB has diminished his character so much in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
yes.
And that's the consensus that we've been getting from all analysts, even commentators like ESPN, everywhere. Like everybody's saying that this diminishes AB.
Yeah, Ryan Clark. Were they
Yeah.
ever teammates at Pittsburgh or?
Ryan Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple.
Towards the end of
Maybe
his
a
career.
couple seasons.
Yeah.
Because I know Ryan Clark finished off as a Giant, I believe, right?
I'm not too sure.
Nah,
I do know that Ryan
Or
Clark.
or a Redskin. I think he finished off a Redskin.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, so I guess they were teammates, but Ryan Clark went on record to say AB is a bad human.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is
Wow.
that's powerful like wording right there. That's
Yeah.
not like, oh yeah, he's a piece of shit. Like that's to say he's a bad human being.
So
That's
I mean,
that's
it seems like
another level.
everybody's taking Juju's side, but let's get into the mind of AB. Why would you continue this? You got what you wanted. You got your big contract that you wanted. You got out of Pittsburgh. You got really everything you wanted this offseason. Why continue the beef or why start beef?
Well, I think for me, from AB's point of view, it's like, how are the Steelers gonna name Juju the MVP of their season? You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of disrespectful on the Steelers' part because AB was by and far their best player last year.
But I think where Juju came in, I think Juju's more powerful presence in the locker room, where the way he takes himself, his character, his personality, work hard mentality.
Well, Nando,
where AB's a little bit more self-centered.
But he had a better season.
Yeah,
So
statistically.
why shouldn't he be the MVP?
Remember, this MVP was the Steelers players named
Yeah.
it MVP, which is I think a huge thing because obviously AB brought so much drama, negativity to the team, especially towards the end of the year, that they kind of all wanted to go and kind of unanimously say that like, hey, Juju's really stepped up this year. He's becoming a large presence in our offense. So, and collectively, we think that he's good on the in the locker room. He doesn't bring this negativity. So obviously, AB's still feeling a little salty, even though he does have this mass production that he brings to the Steelers that nobody can ever say he didn't
okay,
bring.
but Fernando, as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan who's watched every Pittsburgh Steelers game last year, who was the MVP of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Was it AB or was it Juju? As a fan, right? Or as an analyst, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to go against Tony Totap, man. I mean, he's still like, he led the league in receptions and TD receptions. So, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I personally was always, even through all this, AB crap, I was still always looking out for AB as a fan because I know that what he brought to the team. So, and he's just so reliable that, I mean, I love Juju myself, more as a character, but game-wise, I feel like AB last year was still a more clutch
Effective player. So you're naming AB your MVP for the Steelers then?
No, he's naming Tony Totap as
Tony
MVP.
Yeah, Tony Totap.
Tony Totap.
Which I think every person would be able to see that he was 100% the MVP, and I think that. I mean, if I'm him, that sets me off too, because then I feel like that's a direct shot at AB, being like, we don't care how good you did for us. We're going to totally ignore you in this.
So I agree, but if you're AB, why take out that frustration on Juju?
Yeah.
Self-centered person, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so my question is, I want to know what happened to make AB so resentful towards the Steelers. You know what I mean? Like what broke down in that relationship to where he feels like he has so much hatred for all these guys on that team?
I think it started between Big Ben and AB.
Yes.
Not being on the same page, and the Steelers, the coaches, the higher ups, general manager, they're siding with Big Ben, so he feels disrespected. Especially if he feels that he brings more production and is more important to the team than Big Ben, then I think that's where it kind of stemmed from. Right?
Yeah.
I agree. I think, or just really quick, I think that the Steelers kind of like their governing culture might be pretty controlling in a sense. There's actually a pretty good piece. I know we've highlighted this before on our website about it. But obviously with everything that's been going on with Ben Roethlisberger, the relationship is diminished between him and AB. I think with the owners and with the Rooney family, it's been a concoction that's kind of led AB to kind of feel like a bad taste in his mouth with the organization altogether.
Yeah. I think that kind of concludes this.
Yeah, I think this is Pittsburgh turning the leaf for a new era, getting rid of Le'Veon, getting rid of AB.
They're in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
They have to be.
But they have to learn from this because they can't make these mistakes again. They can't be losing these type of caliber players.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Only
think
time
we
is
all
going to
agree
tell
on
with that.
But you know who's making big mistakes? Paul Pierce. that guy's making a mistake every day of the week.
Did you guys hear the Paul Pierce sucks chants in Miami?
Yeah. And in Brooklyn.
Okay, so once
Did
again,
he go
for the listeners that aren't aware of the situation, Paul Pierce came out and said he had a better career and he was a better player than Dwayne Wade, which is the most asinine thing he could have possibly said. So, as a player,
Straight idiotic.
I get that you always want to say that you're the best player.
Yeah,
and
as
that
a
you always-
player, I get it, right?
I guess that mentality, and you never want to admit somebody's better than you, but you can say that without sounding like a jerk like he did and sounding like he's putting down Dwayne Wade, especially when the media's in love with Dwayne Wade right now. He's ending the season like he just ended his season with a triple-double.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Congrats to him.
Going
But
out.
do we think Paul Pierce has a point here? Do you? Okay.
No, Paul Pierce does not have
Obviously,
a
he
point.
did not have a better career. That, I don't know where he thinks. Because when you talk about career, that's factual.
We're
right?
talking
That's-
about
that's
rings,
statistics.
stats, like everything.
I don't know where that's going.
So Paul Pierce never made all team defense, all NBA defense. Dwayne Wade did it, I think, 3 times. Wade was an all-star more times.
So, well, I'll tell you right now, Dwayne Wade was a 13-time NBA All-Star, 3-time NBA champion.
Mhm.
He was the Finals MVP in 2006.
Yes,
Yes.
which that entire playoff, he went off.
He was out of his mind.
That was probably one of the most historic
I mean,
playoff runs by a
remember,
single
too,
player.
And that was the first time Shaquille O'Neal was not the Finals MVP
Yes.
of a final that he's been part of. And then he won the scoring champion in 2009. And then he was, I think, NBA first team, All NBA first team twice. So, I mean, the numbers speak on its own. Where Paul Pierce,
It's true. And Paul Pierce played 3 more seasons than D Wade did. You know what I mean? So like it even shows you.
So
we call those playing. He barely did anything those last 3 seasons with the Clippers.
yeah,
He was just helping Doc. Doc's sidekick.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I think he played for the Wizards before he played for
So,
the
I mean, I want to go against the grain a little bit here, and let's talk about the actual player comparison, not the career, because I think the career, there is no comparison. I think Paul Pierce has a point when it comes to him saying maybe he might be the better player.
No.
I've
So-
always thought Dwayne Wade has been overrated in his career.
Absolutely not. The only aspect of the game that Paul Pierce is better than Dwayne Wade in is outside shooting.
Outside shooting, and when we talk about the greatest of all time, and we talk about like LeBron and Jordan, what's the first thing they always say? All the Jordan people, they're like, Jordan's clutch, LeBron's not.
That's
Paul Pierce is a much more clutch player than Dwayne Wade has ever been.
But I think
Absolutely.
that's largely because I think of his outside range. You know, D Wade hasn't statistically been a very good outside shooter, so he's having to create like his shots going into the hole. You know, at crunch time. Paul Pierce can create his shot, which I mean he was a clutch player. You
So
can't
you're
argue.
just feeding into the argument that Paul Pierce is a better shooter and a more clutch player.
I will agree that he's a more clutch. Maybe has a little bit more of a clutch gene than D Wade, but as a player all around, I mean.
So maybe you give him those 2 categories. But then you look at Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was a much better finisher, much better slasher, much better passer, much better defender, right?
He's
He much
all
better,
around better
much
player.
better leader.
Yeah.
I would take Dwayne Wade over Paul Pierce all day.
All day, any day.
So I personally do think Dwayne Wade is a better player, but not by a lot.
I think by a lot.
I don't think so.
I think by miles.
I think we underestimate Paul Pierce.
I think Paul Pierce is one of the most overrated players there was ever
So,
been.
in my opinion, the last 2 guys that have won championships by themselves were Dirk Nowitzki in 2011 and Dwayne Wade in 06.
I don't think he won one by himself at all. Shaquille O'Neal just left the Lakers. He was still great.
He was still good, but I'm saying the run that he went on, that team doesn't win that championship without him.
Absolutely.
If you
but I
take Paul Pierce off of that Celtics team, even though he was a big scorer, I think Kevin Garnett was the reason why they won that.
And Ray
no,
Allen.
not at all. Who won the MVP of that? I think it was Paul Pierce. When
Paul
they beat
Pierce
the Lakers.
faked his leg injury. The dude needed a wheelchair to come out, and 2 minutes later comes out
Bro, the
running.
theatrics, you gotta applaud it. Come on.
Remember that was the original Big Three. You know what?
That was. I think Paul Pierce is very underestimated. I think he's underrated.
Without those 2 guys, Paul Pierce has been having atrocious seasons in Boston before that.
But who are his teammates? Antoine Walker?
But look,
Is that who his sidekick is?
But listen, the only aspect of Paul Pierce's game that you can say is elite in any fashion is his shot creating. Right? Being able to shoot off the dribble, being able to drive off the dribble and get his open shot. That's the only thing that you can say that is elite about his game.
You can
And
say
if
the
you
same
try-
thing about Steph Curry. But they're so good at it that
You can't
that's what
compare
makes them
somebody
elite.
who
You cannot
I'm not comparing them, but I'm comparing what you said. What makes Steph so good is his shot creating and being able to shoot
But
at a
the-
high level.
The only thing is that Paul Pierce's shot creating skill, that's been done
Replicated.
better by plenty of other players.
Yeah.
So he's not at the top of the game ever when it comes to that aspect
But
of the
he's
game.
really good at it, and he's a lot better than Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
he's a really,
Melo,
really good player.
So let me ask you this: Melo's probably been known as one of the best shot creators in the history of NBA.
I would.
So, are you going to say that he's not that much worse than Dwayne Wade?
Who, Carmelo?
Yes.
I think Carmelo Anthony is a better player than Dwayne Wade.
He's a better scorer. That's it.
Yeah.
He's a better offensive player.
Carmelo has been
No,
has
'cause
had
Carmelo's a ball
atrocious
hog and he can
defensive
pass.
teams.
I
Yeah.
think Carmelo Anthony, actually, scratch that. Carmelo Anthony is the most underrated and disrespected player to ever play this game.
No, he's a ball hog that is only able to score.
Melo is the most lethal scorer we've seen before KD.
The problem is he can't play defense. He doesn't pass well.
I'm talking about offensively.
Those are two.
Kobe Bryant is on record.
Offensively,
Kobe
also-
Bryant is on record saying that the hardest player he ever guarded
Was
was
Melo.
Carmelo Anthony. There is a reason. Bro, Melo is a problem. Coming out of Syracuse, Denver, even his first 3 years
But
in
you
New
can't
York.
take the word of one guy to evaluate an entire guy's
Yeah.
career. And you can't also say, and when
And
you
if that one guy is Kobe Bryant, I'm going to trust it over.
but when you evaluate any player and compare them apples to apples, you can't just say this guy's a better player because he's a better scorer. There's more to it than scoring
No,
in
I just said
basketball.
he's a better offensive player. Maybe all-around player, yeah. Dwayne
No, you
Wade,
can't
but
even say all-around offensive player because Dwayne Wade has him in court vision and passing
Look-
and ball handling.
Look, when I think of offensive playing, there's 2 seconds left on the clock. I want Carmelo Anthony shooting the ball or the ball in his hands over Dwayne Wade and Paul Pierce
But that's-
over
but
Dwayne
that's
Wade.
not- But I don't think that's what it means to be a better offensive player.
I agree.
To be a
I
better
agree.
offensive player, you have to be a better offensive player for 48 minutes. He can be a more clutch player at the end of the game time, but he's not a better offensive player.
I don't
in
even
the
think Melo's that clutch.
I don't think so either.
No, I didn't say
So-
that. He's just a better. I don't know. I think he's a better scorer. I think he's a better offensive
I know
player.
we went on to the
Hands
comparison
down.
between Melo and Dwayne Wade, but go back to Paul Pierce and Dwayne Wade. I don't think
There's
you
no
can
comparison there.
I don't think there's any comparison. He was a good player. He wasn't a great one. I think what makes D Wade great is his leadership and his ability to be part of something bigger consistently. And even now, towards the end of his career, where technically he's past his prime, he's still an effective player.
balled
Paul
out this
Pierce
year.
looked terrible
Look,
at the end of his career.
I did say Dwayne Wade was the better player, but you guys are making it seem like he was way better, which I don't think so at
I
all.
100% believe so.
At all. Dwayne Wade had the benefit of playing with Chris Bosh, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal. Haslam was nasty.
But who
Gary
recruited those
Payton.
guys there?
Sorry?
Dwayne Wade. He recruited those guys there.
Okay, that has nothing to do with playing the game of basketball, recruiting. I'm talking about
Oh,
actually playing the game.
I disagree with that. That's
What? That doesn't even make sense. Recruiting and playing is not even.
So
they're antonyms,
I was
actually.
all on the same page with Doug until he said that.
dude. Recruiting's the way to go now in the NBA.
Yeah, but
But
you
that
can't
has
evaluate
nothing to
the
do-
player based off of recruiting.
No, I'm just saying that players are more enticing to go play with Dwayne Wade than they would be. Playing
Yeah,
with
but that's
Paul
for
Pierce.
different reasons.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with.
That's
this
different
conversation.
reasons, bro. Because they were friends.
Alright, well-
so like that's you can't count that. That doesn't.
First of all, Paul Pierce was the first one to recruit and start that.
I
big
should have
three.
known that I was arguing the wrong side when Doug agreed with me.
Like your whole.
Actually, the reason why Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett went over there was for Doc Rivers specifically, not for Paul Pierce.
I got to see that in writing.
I think Ray Allen
Writing
and
from
Kevin
where?
Garnett elevated Paul Pierce's career.
No.
Yeah.
They
I-
helped him win a ring, yes. And being surrounded by better players, yes, makes you play better. But Paul Pierce did not play with anybody until then, until he was 29 years old.
But if anything, that should give him even more of a reason to be able to score stupid amounts of buckets every
He
single
was.
night.
Pull up his stats. He was a scorer. He was one of the best scorers in the NBA. Just Boston was horrible because he had nobody with him. Dwayne Wade, outside of that 06, where I think he had a lot of help. I'm not here saying that he did it by himself because he did not.
Bro,
outside of that,
team rode D Wade's back that entire playoff.
D Wade was the best player in the playoffs. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But to say that they rode his back, I disagree. You needed Shaq. You needed Alonzo Mourning. You needed so many other people to win that championship. But, anyways,
Well, quick question for you, Eli. What do you think's the most points that Paul Pierce averaged in the season? Wild guess. Most
I'm not
points.
even going to answer your question because according to you, scoring is not everything when it comes to
All right,
offensive
you're
players.
trying to argue he's better offensively.
So hold on, let me ask you a question, Eli.
Hold on. I'm not saying he's a better player. I'm telling you it's not by much. That is what I've been saying.
well, the correct
But I
answer
think-
for that
so
is
what I-
26 points a game.
What I think is I think you overvalue his scoring too much. And the reason why I say that is because when you think of offense, it's not just scoring. Like
I think
said,
you guys overvalue Dwayne Wade as an offensive player. That's what I think. I don't think he's as great as an offensive player as you guys
Okay,
or
let
maybe
me-
even the media thinks.
hold on, let me ask you a question. Is Dwayne Wade first ballot?
Absolutely, because of his career.
Yeah.
Because when you think of first ballot, you go off their career.
Okay.
His career, phenomenal.
Is Paul Pierce first ballot?
No.
No.
Okay.
Because of his
Case in
career.
point.
No,
Case
it's
in
not.
point.
Absolutely not.
Case in point.
No, it's not. Because when you do Hall of Fame, it's off of your career.
Okay.
Okay. Isn't that what
And
we're
I'm-
basing
no,
this
Dwayne
on?
Wade had a better career and he was a better player. You have a better career because you're the better player.
Not necessarily. That
Give me
doesn't
one
correspond
instant.
every
Give
time.
me, give me an instance where it's the opposite.
Robert
Wait.
Horry.
Stop.
I just gave you one.
Stop. You're saying stop.
I just gave you one. He's had a better career than Dwayne Wade,
Just because
but he's not
Oh
first
my
ballot.
God.
just because he's been on he rode the
Look,
freaking Lakers
But
for championship doesn't
I'm-
mean he has had a better
Let me
career.
clarify what I've said. I'm not saying Paul Pierce is the better player. I'm trying to tell you guys it's not as by much as what you guys are saying.
I guess so.
So are you saying that Robert Horry's first ballot?
What? Are you not listening to us?
That's what you said that Robert Horry he had more rings than D Wade, and he had a better career.
No.
No,
he's
that's not what he
first
was saying.
ballot. I'm trying to say
He was saying that Robert Horry's career was better because he
than
won
Dwayne
so.
Wade.
I don't think his career was better than Dwayne Wade just because he leached off the Lakers for championships.
Bro, if you put his career, I think everybody plays for rings, and if you got 6, 7 rings, your career is better than somebody who's had 3.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, I guess it's
What
how
part
you.
it depends what part they played on those rings.
And,
Yeah, bro.
and was he not big? Was he not instrumental in a lot of Laker championships? I'm sure if Robert Horry doesn't hit 3, 4, 5 shots, Lakers don't win 3, 4, 5 rings.
You could say that about any player playing for a championship.
Okay, exactly.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they have a better career.
Yeah.
There's more that
If
goes
you
into
have 7 rings, I mean,
But there's more. There's more that goes into a career than rings.
In just rings.
Accolades, statistics. Like, come on.
okay, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I think just to sum it up, I'm telling you guys, Paul Pierce is a really good player, underrated, and is not that.
I never said he was a bad
And
player.
Dwayne Wade is not that much better than him.
I
still
Dwayne
think
Paul Pierce is a good player. I just think people over
So
exaggerate.
let's rank Dwayne Wade at his position,
Yes.
shooting guard, right?
Okay.
Let's rank him
All time.
all time. Where does he fit in your all time?
I mean, number 1 has to be Jordan.
Yes.
Hands down.
Number 2 has to be Kobe.
Yep.
Kobe,
Yeah.
Yep. Kobe.
Number
Some
3.
people argue Jerry West.
What?
No.
Jerry West is a point guard.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really have. He was considered a guard because back then they didn't have point guard shooting guards.
I'm not
Number
gonna call
3
him a shooting
is
guard.
Allen Iverson, hands down. Allen Iverson is a better player, was a better shooting guard.
I'll give you
than
that.
Dwayne Wade.
I'll even give you number 4. I would say Reggie Miller. And then I'll give you Dwayne Wade.
I actually like Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
better
I
than
like
Reggie.
Dwayne Wade better than
I
Reggie.
feel like Reggie Miller
More.
was more impactful with what he was elite at, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I feel like
But-
he kind of
but I
paved
still
the
think
way.
that Dwayne Wade did more than Reggie did.
yeah. That's,
Yeah.
It's,
I think
it's
his
hard to
game
put you
all
top
around.
5 if you don't have a ring. It's
Yeah.
really hard. But I think
Regardless-
he ranks 4th.
Regardless, that makes Dwayne Wade top 5 shooting guards.
Yes.
Is Paul Pierce anywhere close to the top 5 in small forwards ever?
No, but there's a lot more
Absolutely
better
not.
small forwards and shooting guards. But like you guys are coming at me like I'm saying that he said that I said Dwayne Wade was not as good as Paul Pierce. I'm saying he's better. I'm just saying
I
Paul
don't know what
Pierce.
this dude's arguing about.
I
I think
the
this
whole
dude
time
hotboxed
I've
before the
said,
podcast.
He pulled a
The whole
Zion.
time I've said Paul Pierce. It's really close with him and Dwayne Wade. That's what I've been saying.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to get through to you.
So
You're too stubborn.
No, because I'm just saying facts.
you're saying stubbornness, but it's all right.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not. I feel like Eli's over there really getting mad and getting hurt.
He-
No, I'm not hurt. I'm fine, guys. Everybody. I want everybody to know right now. I'm fine.
You know
I'm living
what-
life, and f these guys.
On a good note, though, you know what's pretty cool seeing was a banana boat out there showing up for D Wade's
Facts.
last
Facts.
game.
No, man, that's real cool. Like, I love that friendship that they have. It's a shame that like not all of them could eventually get onto a team like they originally wanted to. But I mean, that was unrealistic from the get go.
Yeah.
But
Class
that's
act.
but that's a super class act, you know. But I don't like it.
Why?
Why don't you like it?
So I like the gesture in the sense like if I was that close to people, like I would want them to be there, and so like that was cool that they showed up and that was classy. I don't like the fact that the NBA has gotten to that point where everyone's buddy.
It's a player empowerment era.
I don't want to see that. The fans don't want to see that.
But that's the
I
era
think
that
the
we're in.
fans loved it when Melo grabbed the ball, faked like he was about to shoot. He passed it
Yeah,
up.
I-
That
You
was
know-
a great moment.
You know what fans like better? Fans like controversy and rivalries a lot better.
Absolutely.
People love the Russell Westbrook versus Embiid. Every time they play against each other, the media eats it up and the fans eat it up. That's what I want to see.
I agree. I love the rivalry, and I feel like the NBA has gotten away from that. But
So far away from it. Now you have 3, 4, 5 superstars on the same team where back in the day you didn't see that at all. They refused to go play with somebody else.
absolutely, I agree with that. But come on, man, it's the banana boat. It's the banana boat.
Like I said, I like that they were there in terms of like being good friends. I just don't like what that means for the NBA.
I think you're taking it too deep. I don't think it means anything.
No,
for the
I think
NBA.
that's the epitome of the state of the NBA in terms of player relationships.
Yeah, but I don't think it's because of the banana boat and them showing up.
No. The banana boat is a product of the current state of the NBA. That's what I'm saying.
But if you look at any other players in the NBA, there's nothing else that kind of signifies relationship like these guys have together. So like I think this is something that's kind of unique within themselves because who can you even say has anything similar to this?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fake friends in the NBA.
Yeah.
I feel like they think they're close, but they're really not.
Well, I want to see more fake friends in the
And
NBA.
this isn't like the new generation.
Well, no, I don't want to see fake friends. I want them to show it. I don't want it to be fake. I want them to.
I want to see
show-
some real rivalries. I want more Embiid and Westbrook. I want
Facts. Embiid and Drummond. Just Embiid with
that. Embiid with
most
anyone.
centers.
Embiid with anyone because you know he's going to talk
We
shit.
just
all
want
game
more
anyway.
Embiid, okay?
Maybe
He's the
more
GOAT.
Embiid.
He's the
Maybe that
Twitter
he's
GOAT.
the answer to the NBA.
He wants more Giannis blocking Embiid.
Ooh.
Well, Giannis has the same mentality.
Yeah.
And I
He
love
doesn't
that
wanna
about
be friends with
Giannis.
anybody.
I love that. Look at Kobe Bryant, one of the best of all time. He had that same mentality.
The
He didn't
Mamba
gi-
mentality.
That Mamba mentality. He didn't give a shit about being friends with people, even his own teammates.
He hated Shaq.
He hated Shaq.
He wants
But
more of the Allen Iverson just walking over dudes.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I want. That's one of the most iconic moments in the NBA history, and you won't ever see that in that capacity because people are too worried about potentially teaming up with somebody in the future, so they don't want to hurt their
You
feelings.
hear that, NBA? We want that disrespectful shit back. All right?
Yeah, facts.
Just stare down. What's his face? Jason Terry.
Oh, Braun dunking on Cherry.
Duncan on
Oof.
Terry.
Oof,
Jeez.
that was filthy. I
Yeah,
remember
I
that.
think Kobe only had 2 friends in his career: Sasha Vujacic and
Pau
Pau
Gasol.
Gasol.
And
Yeah.
Pau Gasol. Yeah.
The best.
Only 2 friends he
That-
ever had.
That's facts. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty valid. So kind of to segue a little bit, speaking of Kobe and the Lakers, Magic Johnson stepping down.
Ooh, man.
What is going on in LA? I don't like it.
What do you think is the cause of this?
I think it's Magic being Magic.
So
No, I disagree. To an extent, yes, Magic's being Magic. I actually think Jeannie Buss wanted this.
So I think it's a combination of things. I think one, it's Magic not being able to have the freedom of being able to be like an older mentor to a lot of the game's
Nah,
younger
I think
players.
that's BS. I think
No,
that's
no,
media BS.
no. But he's been doing that for years before he became president.
No.
He was always a mentor. I think it's a combination
he
of
was
that.
a mentor, but I kind of agree with Doug. I think that's more of a media BS kind of thing.
I think it's also a combination of him being in the middle of the Walton and Jeannie Buss, thing where he felt like he was stuck in the middle, and then there was really no right answer. And then, according to ESPN reports, supposedly Magic stepped down because there was a article that was supposed to be, I don't know if it was supposed to be posted yet or it's going to be posted on ESPN that he stepped down because of some personal misconduct in the way he interacted with the employees in the front office.
Wow, that's news to me. That's crazy.
Yeah, I read it earlier on ESPN. So who knows if that's sexual misconduct? You never really know. But supposedly there's an article that's supposed to be released pretty soon, and in light of that, them kind of knowing what was up, he stepped down beforehand to kind of soften the blow a little bit.
So
But
what-
I think
go
this
ahead.
is more the reason I say it's Magic being Magic. Magic has done this before when he was an NBA coach. He just felt like not doing stuff, so he quit. Like
You think it's just laziness?
not laziness,
Or he
like
just
he
couldn't
just
handle
doesn't
it?
want to do it. So why should he do it?
Nah, I think you're off, Chief.
I think when he first came in,
Hold on, can we pause real quick? Anytime you ever call someone chief in a debate, that's the most disrespectful thing you could do to them.
Well, that's how I feel right now.
That's so demeaning.
sure thing, buddy.
Yeah. He just shit all over everything you just said, Doug. Sorry,
No,
continue.
I hear what you're saying,
All
Doug,
right.
but go ahead.
Okay, so I think when he first came in to the Lakers, he thought it was more of, oh, I'm going to recruit players to come to the Lakers. It's like what I like doing. But as chief of basketball operations, you got to do scouting. You got to be doing like straight back office stuff. It's an everyday thing. And I think he was just going to come in there, kind of chill, get people to come to Lakers. Oh, that's what I'm best at. He said that during his intro press conference.
So do you think his impact as a front office member for a team is overrated? Do you think like the credit that he has been given for certain things, do you think it's, you know,
a little bit, yeah.
like him bringing LeBron to LA?
I think that's what Magic's good at, recruiting players to come play for the Lakers. I don't think he wants to do any of the back office stuff, which is why I think he left.
Well, that's why they have Rob Pelinka. But let me tell you the real reason why.
All right,
Okay.
tell me. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, that doesn't have the same sting.
Yeah, that didn't have the same effect. Nice try though.
So I think it started with Jeannie Buss, and I think she was trying to figure out what's going on with her organization. She lost control of it, and she was trying to backtrack, see what's going on. One of the main problems is Magic not liking Luke Walton and Rob Pelinka and wanting to fire them.
Yeah.
Okay?
He hired Pelinka.
Yes, but things went south between the two. They weren't seeing eye to eye. Okay? Magic wanted to fire both of them, and that's put on record, and Jeannie Buss said no.
Yeah, it's been on record.
But do you
where
think
the
that's- do you
Lakers
think that's-
coaching staff thought they were getting fired weeks before the season ended?
But do you think that is Magic trying to find a scapegoat for the poorly put together team?
Maybe
And
not.
do
but
you think that Pelinka still might be on the chopping block?
No, not at all. Pelinka's relationship with Jeannie is really good. And I think Magic is starting to realize, or he did realize, he does not have as much power or pull as he thought he did going into this role.
He didn't have that clout.
Yeah, I guess.
I think Magic thought that this was probably like one of his better times to be able to pull this off. Obviously there's distortion between him and, like you said, Jeannie Buss, and then he wasn't able to say a lot of things he wanted to say. He's gotten fined a couple of times. He's gotten the Lakers fined a couple of times. So this is him maybe kind of saying like, I don't see, maybe this is maybe the best time for me to do this. And then obviously it was a shock to all of us. But
I don't think it was a shock. I saw it coming. I mean, maybe it was a shock in the way he did it.
Nah.
in the way he did it,
I was surprised. I'll admit it. I thought for sure that Pelinka and Walton would leave before Magic.
Me too. I thought that was what was going to happen.
For sure.
Yeah, you would. But like I've been saying, I just think that Magic did not have as much as control as he wanted. And I think that's what kind of ultimately led him to wanting to leave.
So what do you think is next for Magic?
Back to the Dodgers.
Just
Brandon
deal with the
Bassett.
Dodgers? I think he's still.
And he
I
wants
think
to be
he'll
a
still
mentor.
heavily recruit. Yeah, and be a mentor.
I think he wants to go to TV. He low-key threw it out there in the press conference.
Yeah,
he's-
but in those press conferences, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, man. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what Magic
we don't know,
wants to
but
do.
I mean, Magic could do whatever he wants. I don't think this has hurt his career in any.
No, regardless
Sorts
of,
of way.
regardless of
He
what he does next,
wants-
he's going to be
wants
successful.
to do whatever he wants, so he felt like he was too restricted. So he
I agree,
wanted
Nando. I think the real question is, what's next for the Lakers?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
They-
How do you recruit those players now without Magic? Because I think that was your biggest recruiter,
Yes.
right? And that's the reason why you would go.
But you're forgetting one thing. LeBron's also one of the kings of recruiting.
That is
So,
true, but
I
just-
think he can still make up for it. Because
Who did he recruit?
what do you mean?
Well, he's talking about in the past. I don't think LeBron went into LA thinking, all right, now I have to do all the recruiting again by myself. He was like, I think part of the reason of him going to LA is like,
But
I
who
have
did he
Magic to help
recruit?
me.
What do you mean? He helped orchestrate the whole Big Three in Miami.
That was more Wade. I contribute that more to Wade and Pat Riley than LeBron.
No, what do you mean? I don't give that to Pat Riley at all.
I think that's a percentage of all of them, but also in Cleveland,
Who do you
with
recruit?
Kevin Love,
Yeah,
bringing
okay.
him over and making sure Kyrie doesn't, try to go anywhere or anything like that.
But
I think
he did. Kyrie did leave.
okay, but
Oh,
that's after
after they
the
won a
championship.
championship.
And then Kevin Love requested to be traded, and LeBron was like, "Oh, he's a superstar. Let's just get him over
Once
here."
again after a championship. But anyways, I think it's going to be harder than what it's been in the past for LeBron because Rob Pelinka is probably the most hated GM in all of basketball.
among other GMs.
He's one of them, and he's known to be a snake.
Yeah, because he was an agent.
Yeah, I know. And he's been a snake.
But I feel like him being an agent, that should see him be more of a player's GM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't that's not the way it's
Should.
working out for
Yeah,
him.
it's not. It's not at
Sure.
all.
I think other GMs don't trust him, and I think other agents don't trust him.
Well, I mean, I think we saw that with the whole potential trade with New Orleans.
Yeah.
That broke
Yeah,
down
exactly.
so poorly, and I think you got to ask the question is
That's on Pelinka and Magic. That's on both
that has
of
to
them.
be on both of them.
First of all, you're leaking news into the media that you're trying to get this trade,
In the
happening.
works?
Yeah, in the
There
works.
was like reports of pieces
But
that were going to be included. And
There were
everything.
also reports that afterwards, that after it all fell apart, that New Orleans never really intended to trade AD.
No,
Well,
I think they're
their
just
GM
trying to punk the Lakers.
I think that's what reports said, that they were just trying to expose them.
yeah.
I think that GM was being petty, and that's why he's out of a
He
job.
got fired.
Yeah, that's why he's out of a job. He was being petty.
Well,
The
Maybe he's
Lakers-
out
honestly,
of
this
maybe
AD
he's out of a
thing-
job for not being able to get a return for AD because now
He's gone for nothing.
I think they
Yeah.
would. I think they would have had a better return anyways during the summer.
Dude, no. The Lakers offered everything but their logo.
But honestly,
fucking-
who
Practically.
out of that package, who's really that enticing? Lonzo Ball,
bro,
like Ingram, who
literally-
has this blood clot issue.
From Kuzma.
Okay, well, first of all, that just happened, and that's low of you
Yeah.
to bring that up.
No,
But,
I'm just stating facts.
but Ingram is still an attractive young person that you can kind of pitch.
and at
Lonzo
that point
Ball-
there was no news of the blood
Okay,
clots.
but would you rather have them or Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, like that package deal? Whatever else they want, whatever picks they want to throw, or maybe they want to go
So
the
let me
next
ask
route
you. Let me ask you if that
with
was.
that first round pick.
But let me ask you this: if that was that attractive of an offer, why wasn't that done? That's why I say I think New Orleans was just pulling everyone's leg and just.
And I think
Well-
Tatum's trade
Well,
spot-
Boston couldn't trade for him during the season because of the whatever rule that is where they can't have trade for two superstars or whatever like that in one season.
So who would you trade if you're Boston? I want to hear it. Let's
So-
play 60-second GM real quick. What do you think that package would have been?
Well, give me time for it to prepare. Chill.
No, I'm not really trying to play. I'm just trying to say.
Oh, okay.
He's just saying like hypothetically if
Yeah.
we were playing the game this week.
That's a good question, though. Yeah.
Okay, so I would definitely let me take a look at the roster real quick.
You're taking too long. bro.
Yeah, enough. Bottom line is, I think the Lakers would have given them a more attractive package, and I think that trade fell apart because of Pelinka.
I just don't believe that.
Pelinka and the
that
GM of
package.
Yeah.
the Pelicans.
Which, and I get what you're saying, Eli, that it doesn't bode well for other players that are going to try to go to play at LA, but I still think LeBron has too much power. I don't think people are going to care.
I don't know. Does he? There's a whole bunch of superstars not even want to be in Space Jam 2. What's going on?
Just make LeBron president of basketball operations.
All right, so here's the trade package I'm gonna throw in: Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jalen Brown, 2 first-round picks.
The problem is that's not what the Celtics were offering.
They didn't offer anything. They couldn't
Well,
offer
that's
anything.
well, that's not
To be
what's
honest, I still
rumored
want-
as them being willing to give up. Let me say
I
that.
still rather have Lonzo, Kuzma, and Ingram.
I'd rather have Tatum than any of whatever Lakers can
Tatum
offer.
did not look good at all this season. I'll just say that.
All right, but I still think
Not Kyrie, though. You know.
Yeah. But anyways, Lakers, LeBron, you guys are in trouble, and I'm excited to see what happens, what you pull out of your hat.
I think you're overstating how much they're in trouble, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. To kind of talk about the next topic, someone that's absolutely in a lot of trouble with the way he's been playing, Chris Davis.
moving on to MLB.
Moving on to MLB.
Real quick, sorry. I just want to get your guys' take on something. Just a couple of days ago, the NBA players, they did a little voting on who the most overrated player was in the NBA, and first came back was Draymond and Russ tied. What do you guys think?
I think Russ is not
think-
deserving of
I
that.
think-
I think Draymond's deserving.
No, I think Russ is extremely overrated.
Wow.
Wow.
I
The
agree
reason
with
the reason for that, he's been averaging a triple double for the last 3 years, and his team has still not gotten better.
I think his team's pretty damn good this year.
I think the team is good,
First of
but
all,
is that Russ's
They're
fault?
they're decent.
especially with
they're
the
not-
addition of PG, the way he's been playing.
To say that the Thunder are pretty damn good is an overstatement. Don't ever hit me with that again.
I think
I
they're
think
going to
they're
surprise
good.
you this year. I think they're going to do pretty good.
They have no depth.
We'll see. I think they're going to do good. I like them.
I think Russ is 100% is extremely overrated.
I think that's disrespectful.
Well,
But then
bro, he's a stat
can I
stuffer.
make a quick line of thinking: how do you average a triple double in the season and still get
In
caught?
3 straight seasons.
Facts.
I'm not
Yeah.
arguing that that's not impressive, but I think with the way he's gone about getting his triple doubles, it's one, not organic, and I don't think it lends itself to other players making other players better.
Okay, but I
What-
think
what
the
do you mean?
question is,
He's still a superstar in the league, but I think he's overrated.
I don't think that makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't think he's overrated at all. I
Fine.
think he's one of the best players in the NBA, and I
Yeah.
think once again he gets disrespected a lot.
No, you know who gets disrespected a lot? Damian Lillard.
Yeah, he gets mad
All
disrespect.
right, that's being disrespected.
Underrated. Yeah.
He's more underrated,
Yeah.
right?
But
I
that's what I'm
agree.
saying. Russ is not disrespected.
He is because you're disrespecting him right now.
Rightfully so.
No, absolutely
Unrightfully
not.
so.
You think so too, Doug?
No, unrightfully
Yeah,
so.
there's no
Yeah.
way.
I agree.
The guy's a
Russ,
great player.
he's an elite player.
I'm
yeah.
not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying that he's overrated.
I don't understand
Why?
how he's
I don't
overrated.
understand. Like,
Okay,
I
so
think he's
what, are you
properly
gonna
rated.
But are you gonna
Do
put
you
him on
think
the?
he's one of the? Do you think he's one of the top 3-point guards in the league?
Yeah, but I don't think that says much.
That's where he's
Yes, it
rated at right
does.
now.
What?
he's
not.
getting a triple double at the highest level of basketball 3 straight seasons in a row.
I still don't think he's top 3 player in the NBA.
Okay,
Okay.
You don't have to be a top
Yeah.
3 player in the NBA.
I don't think he's top 5.
Okay, you still don't have to be top 5 either.
But people talk about him like if he's the best player in the NBA. He's
No.
not.
No, I don't. Who says that about
Yeah.
Russell? We're talking about. It's obvious his stats speak for itself. But the guy's
And
a.
whether they're
But his stats are contrived.
not.
He goes out there trying to find those stats.
I disagree. Maybe a little bit when it comes to rebounds, but
But
assists.
He fights his teammates for rebounds. You can go look it up like on YouTube and watch videos of him fighting teammates for rebounds.
Well,
Come
I
on,
think
bro.
that's just his game style.
I think that's his.
That's not his game
passion.
style. That's going out there looking for the numbers.
I don't think
No,
so.
I think that's his game style.
And
I think
even
his
if he
game
is,
style-
that doesn't make him overrated.
That's what I'm saying. Like even if let's say even it was a little bit intentional like that, you still have to be able to produce those numbers the entire season, three seasons in a row. You know what I mean?
That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
I guess so. I disagree.
I think we can all agree though that Draymond's overrated.
Yeah,
Shit.
Draymond.
Yeah.
This coming from a Warriors
That's
fan. Draymond's overrated.
Draymond's extremely overrated.
And
I
I'm
hope
so
we don't pay him in
glad Doug is
2020.
saying this, but if you talked to Doug 3 years ago, he would tell you he's
No,
a top 5 power forward.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
No.
Not anymore.
No, so first of all, I think his defense fell off a little bit,
A lot.
Absolutely.
A lot.
and that was the whole draw to his game.
He can't shoot threes.
Oh, I mean, he can never shoot 3. So it's not
Draymond
like,
was in
He
the
had a couple of seasons there where he was
he had a
shooting
couple good
decently.
seasons, but Draymond is in the right system, and that's what made him look good
Yeah.
for most of his career.
Yeah, I always conceded that.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think.
No, I
Doug-
always conceded that he was more of a system player, but if you plug him, for example, in
Nah, I feel like even 3 weeks ago, if we would have asked you, you'd have been like, he's properly rated,
nah,
or like at least before the season.
nah.
I don't know. You be
All right.
drinking that Golden State
I'm just
Kool-Aid too
saying, I
much.
still think Clay is underrated, but let's go.
Well, I mean,
Let's
he is,
continue.
but yeah, that's
Let's
a
not
different
go
story.
back to that. Let's
So
not go back.
back to what I was trying to talk about, right? Chris Davis and that streak, right? Eli, you wanna let us know what the ins and outs of that streak is,
Yeah, I think he's 0 for 52 right now.
Trash.
which
that
set
is-
the record for the longest hitless streak by a position player.
I think I can get it at bat and get a hit in 52 attempts. I really do. Whether that be bunting or closing my eyes and getting lucky.
This guy.
So here's the problem with Chris Davis. He's always had an extremely long swing, slow swing. As you get older, your bat speed diminishes, and that swing becomes longer and longer and longer. And
Yeah.
the longer
absolutely.
your swing is, the less likely you are to make good contact and to be able to catch up to fastballs and all that. And that's just going to throw off your timing even more. I just don't think he's well equipped to
And
to strike any fear in anyone's hearts.
I was watching him play actually today, and the way he stands in the batter's box doesn't even look like his bat goes across the whole plate. Like, I don't think he gets enough of the strike zone swinging. I don't think he does anything right.
No.
And who is the hitting coach in Baltimore?
Why does Baltimore keep putting him out there?
Well, because they're terrible and they have no one else.
He's not even good
But also,
defensively.
you also have to factor in that they paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, true.
So if you're gonna pay a guy like
Especially in Baltimore,
You kinda
who doesn't
have to
the
play him.
biggest Payroll.
you
I think
can't
that's
play,
stupid. I mean, if you're that horrible and you're obviously not doing good and you're in a slump, send him down to the minor leagues. Let him get one hit before
Yeah.
you at least bring him back up.
Get him a couple of hits.
Let a couple young guys who will probably do a lot better than that come into the lineup and maybe make your team a little bit better.
Even if it's temporary.
Yeah, like
Just
So-
let him get a couple of hits in.
first off, the streak's 0 for 53.
wow, even worse.
But
do you know how many of those are strikeouts?
I would have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my
If
head.
I had to guess,
A lot.
54 of them.
I'm sure like more than 50% of strikeouts.
54 because I'm guessing his next at bat's a strikeout.
So here's the reason why they won't send him down and they're going to have to play him. It's because, he signed through the 2022 season, so that's 3 more seasons. They initially gave him a 7-year, 161 contract,
Ooh.
Lord.
which is absolutely I don't understand it. But that equates to he's getting paid maybe like on average 20 mil a year. I know like his actual contract probably doesn't break down to that, but to pay a guy like $20 million plus, you're not going to bench him. You're not going to send him down. You have to play him. I don't think you have much of a choice.
I mean, if I'm the general manager, I do it. And I'm not saying I'm doing it for the whole year, but for a couple weeks or something to get the guy going. You're paying $20 million for what? Nothing, essentially. You got to get something out of your investment.
That's an absolute albatross of a contract. Like that's
And
they're,
I think
they're
we
so
talked
stuck.
about it last podcast that's why these huge, long contracts, they're so hit or miss.
So, but the problem is you can't give a contract to a guy like that who, for his whole career, he always struck out a absurd amount of.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. He was a one-tool player. He had power. That's it. He didn't have defense. He didn't have. He couldn't hit for contact. He literally only had power. So he was a one-trick pony and they paid him.
Yeah,
and they were
that's
idiots for
stupid.
paying him.
So just looking through his streak, he's only had 22 strikeouts.
That's a lot. 22
15
strikeouts in 2 weeks?
No, 15 this season, 7 last season, going back to his record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So not as much as
22 out of 53 at bats.
Yeah.
So close to 50%.
yeah.
That's awful.
That's terrible. But I mean, he was always a guy that was
He was
either going to
always-
hit a home run or strike out,
Exactly.
or
He
know
was
what I mean.
always one of those guys. But
I'm pretty sure he set the record for most strikeouts in a season.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think he
Didn't
got.
lead majors and home runs like a couple of years.
He did lead the league in home runs. Like, I
the
think in
year that he was an
2014,
all-star. No, I think it was 2013.
2013.
2013,
Wow.
53 home
53
runs.
home runs, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when they. No, that was I think like 2 years before they paid him.
Yeah. 2015, 47 home runs, but 208 strikeouts. 2016, 38 home runs, 219 strikeouts. His two
That's-
biggest strikeout seasons. That's a lot.
That's crazy. 200 plus. That's absurd.
I honestly
man.
think I could do better.
That's 219 out of 566 at bats. That's almost half. That's more than half, right?
No.
No, a little bit less than half.
Yeah, a little bit less than half.
The hitting coach in Baltimore needs to get fired. Whoever
I
that
don't-
guy is.
I don't think that's even his fault.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
The rest of
I'm
the
out
team's
here
doing pretty
blaming him
well.
for this.
Yeah, you're coming after this guy's job, bro. Chill.
And he's like, can
probably
anybody do better?
Yeah,
So to talk about another streak, and unfortunately it ended tonight. But Whit Merrifield, he lost his game
What
hitting
a
streak.
great professional hitter.
Fantastic.
The
And-
opposite. Complete opposite end of the
And I
spectrum.
feel like we don't see players like that often, right? That are everyone's obsessed with the long ball and hitting for power. He's a solid hitter, good fielder, speedster. I love Whit Merrifield's game. He got to 31 games before it snapped, and then today he went 0 for 6, which 6 at bats, more than enough time. I think I saw him fly out, I think in the 8th inning, and I think that made him 0 for 4, and I was like, damn it, he's not going to get it. And then I saw that game go into extra innings. I was hoping he got it, but
he caught that Chris Davis syndrome.
oh, chill. That's disrespectful.
Nobody can do that, Nando. Not
No.
even you.
No.
Well, chill, and I think Nando could.
So what I want to ask you guys is, with both of these streaks, they both extended to last season. Do you think that streaks like that should cross over from season to season,
No.
or do you think they should start new when the new season starts?
Start new ones.
No, I think it should cross over. I like it. I know Jimmy Rollins had a huge hit streak of himself that crossed over. That was maybe
So
like
let me
5-6
ask you
years
this
ago,
then,
But
Eli. if a guy starts a streak in September, right? He doesn't make the playoffs, and he picks it back up in April. Let's say in the future somebody does break the DiMaggio record of 56 straight games with a hit. I don't think that'll ever happen,
Yeah.
and I'll get into that in a second. But do you think if somebody does it over the course of 2 seasons and split up like that, do you think it diminishes the record?
Yes.
No, I think it's even more impressive because when you're in the middle of a season, you get on a little roll, you get on a rhythm. You have a 3-month layover. Now you kind of got to start over, right? So I think it's almost even more impressive to get back into that rhythm and start like nothing happened. Because if you've ever played baseball, you know it's such a timing and rhythm game. So to lose that 3 months of not playing baseball, well, not playing baseball, but at the MLB level, I think it shouldn't diminish it at all.
I'm not going to lie. I was totally prepared to argue the opposite and say that it shouldn't start over. But I think you just kind of convinced me.
Yeah.
I just by playing
I'm about to
baseball.
smack
Playing
this boy in
baseball,
the
like,
face.
if
Why,
you-
how you had the audacity
You
to
take
agree
2
with
weeks
this guy?
off, bro. You can lose your whole swing.
No,
This guy just turned into Barry Bonds. His head just grew 3 sizes today.
no, playing baseball. To be honest with you, I feel dumb for not even thinking about
Don't
like
worry
that
about it, bro.
from the
It's
beginning.
okay.
But first, of all, don't talk
I
to me
didn't
like
have
that.
any energy in me to argue anyway at this point, so I'm glad you did it.
That was a good thing, though. I can't even lie. That was
No,
a good
no,
thing.
yeah, I get that. But once again, congrats to Whit Merrifield.
Yeah, and
That's still an impressive streak. And to
hold on, real quick, he'd also beat the Royals record.
yes,
And
George
that was
Brett's record of
George
30.
Brett, yeah.
hmm
So congrats to that.
Talk about another streak that ended this week. Jacob deGrom,
Your boy.
my boy, man, that was rough.
I think you jinxed him, man.
You did.
You jinxed him. If anybody listens to our last podcast, which you should, it was really good. Danny was going off defending his boy and his contract, and this is what happens.
Listen, that's one start. You can't say that I was.
Jake DeGrom, I got the guy right here. All right,
No,
we'll bring
man,
him to you.
he's still gonna have a Cy Young like season again.
He's still the best.
He's
pitcher
still
in
one of the
baseball.
most dominant pitchers
Watch
in
him get
baseball.
shelled the next 3 games.
No, so he tied Bob Gibson's record of 26, and it ended when he went over his 27th attempt. He got shelled against the Minnesota Twins. So I'm gonna give DeGrom a cop out here. That game was in a rain delay. He warmed up a couple times, and then he went to go play the game. Typically, when you see that, pitchers get scratched, but DeGrom's a competitor, so he wanted to pitch, and he pitched. And in my opinion, I think that's what kind of possibly could have attributed to him getting shelled.
Yeah, but I mean, it was
Also-
against Minnesota. Minnesota's not even that great of a lineup.
Yeah.
I don't know. They got some good pieces.
A couple, but not enough for where.
To
it's-
shell
Yeah,
DeGrom.
Jake DeGrom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, my thing is Jacob deGrom and that start looked like old Jacob deGrom before he became super dominant, because deGrom was always a good pitcher, and then I would say like top pitcher in the game, but he suffered from Max Scherzer syndrome, where he would have a hard time giving up the long ball, and then on his streak he barely ever gave up a homer, and in this game I think they hit maybe 4 or 5 off of him.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think having that rain delay, a couple more hours to think about the record before starting the game, do you think that played into this at all?
I don't think
so.
I don't think the mental aspect of him
Yeah.
thinking about the record played into it, but I do think getting up, warming up, sitting down, and then getting back up to warm up again.
That's rough for a pitcher.
That's 100%
Oh,
rough for a pitcher.
absolutely, yeah.
It throws you out of your routine. It throws you out of your rhythm. And it was very obvious from early on that DeGrom did not look like he had his best stuff. He wasn't able to locate even his fastball, which his fastball and changeup, everyone knows those are his 2 pitches that he locates the best. Yeah, he just looked uncomfortable from the beginning.
That's unfortunate, but I can see him maybe breaking the record again. Or
Again?
getting close to it.
I mean, he's
again,
had
real soon.
He's had, I think, 3 or 4 starts this season. Usually, typically, if pitchers stay healthy, they can make like 30 starts in a season. So
he might get it going.
he,
Yeah.
he could get it going again. I hope he does.
I hope he gets shelled a couple more times.
No, shut up. But in all honesty, for elite pitchers, that streak is impressive. But I think that's one of those that,
You need a little bit of luck.
no, I don't think so. I think that's a very obtainable streak again for someone. I mean, Greinke got close a couple years ago. I think that's a very obtainable streak. I feel like that's a little bit different than the hitting streak, because the 56-game hitting streak with Joe DiMaggio, I feel like the way the MLB is styled now with the way people hit now and lots of strikeouts, try to hit for power, I don't think anybody's ever going to touch that streak.
Just to
Yeah,
be clear,
that's
that
one of the-
actually ended 2 streaks because he had a 27-inning scoreless inning streak as
Yes.
well going
Yeah.
into that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first run that he gave up. But yeah, I feel like that's a very obtainable streak, unlike the hitting streak. And even, the all-time hits record. I feel that's another one that no one's
Yeah,
ever going to touch.
In baseball, there's like a couple records, like the stolen base records that
That just
there's
no one's going
way-
to ever touch again.
Yeah.
I think Ricky Henderson's record's like 700 something, and then
Yeah, I think with Ricky
How about the
Henderson's
batting
record,
average? Oh,
you could
what Ted
add
Williams
like
have?
the 2 to 5, and they'll still be short of his record. Like it's crazy.
yeah, and then
I think Ted Williams' batting average too.
not the single season. I don't think anybody's ever going to hit
Yeah,
400 again.
Mauer got close a couple of years ago, right?
Chipper.
Altuve got close.
Oh, yeah,
Chipper
Altuve.
got close. I think Chipper got close. I think either the year he retired or the year before or something like that. But the hits record, Pete Rose's hits record of I think 4,200 hits or something. No one's ever touching that.
Shout out to Pete Rose.
Yeah, shout out to Pete Rose. Baseball, get this guy in the Hall of Fame. He deserves to be there.
That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, facts.
All right, so enough about baseball. Because who likes talking about baseball? I'm kidding.
Yo, chill. I love talking about baseball.
I know, I'm kidding, guys. But let's talk about something Fernando likes.
Football.
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 The world's best game, boys.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Hey, but yeah, who caught the Champions League games last?
I
week?
definitely was able to catch a couple games. I had to watch the best player in the world play. So let's just talk about the fixtures that did
Wait, hold
happen.
on.
Wait,
Who do you
yeah, who's the
classify
best
as the
player,
best player
bro?
in the world?
Please.
Oh, I thought it was known. Did I actually have to say a name?
I
Fernando,
mean,
you can say the name for me.
We
Go
gotta-
ahead.
We gotta bring this up again. Actually, we wanted. Well, let's go over the games first, and we'll talk about.
No.
No,
Stop ducking
Give
the
me a straight
question.
answer, Nando.
Yeah, Nando.
For once in your life, give us a straight answer.
This guy is notorious for never giving us a
Alright.
straight answer. Who's the best player in the world, Nando?
As much as my heart hurts to say it,
See, he's always with this extra
gotta
stuff,
agree. I gotta agree that Christie is the best player in the world.
Cristiano
It's-
Ronaldo. Thank
It's
you.
1A, 1B. It's 1A, 1B.
Okay, so I'm going to just go over the games. Tottenham beat Man City. That's a shocker. 1-0. Liverpool beat Porto. Understandable. 2-0. Ajax and Juventus was probably the best game of them all. 1-1
agree.
draw. Very exciting game. And then Barcelona beat Man United 1-0. Fernando, since you've watched all the games, tell me what you thought the most exciting game was and what you're looking forward to.
I got to agree with you with the Ajax Juventus game. I think that Ajax is actually playing like a pretty cohesive squad. I think that a lot of people thought that Juventus was gonna probably run away with it, or at least have a significant victory there. But I don't know, man. They had a lot of opportunities there. Christie, came in with that nice header there.
I disagree. If you've ever watched Ajax play, and if you watched them play this year, I think it was kind of predictable that they were going to put up a really good effort. And I thought Juve was in trouble, and they needed Ronaldo to play because he was coming off injury to get this result, which was a 1-1 draw.
Well, they're definitely going to need him to play exceptionally, in the next leg to be able to go ahead and classify to the next round, which is what we actually talked about. That Christie's he's known to have those stupid games where he pulls off like a hat trick to classify.
Why
his
is it
team
stupid?
next round? You know what I mean? Stupid in a good way. Like it's crazy because he finds a way to classify his team to the next level. And for us fans or anti-fans,
All right, so let's play a little match predictor, and we'll go around the room. Second leg, Tottenham is up 1-0 on Man City. Who do we think goes through in that second leg?
I think Man City comes
I
back
think
in.
Man City is a better team.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Man City.
That's 2. What do you think, Nando?
I also actually I'm gonna go with Tottenham. I think Man
Oh.
City's gonna go
Oh,
ahead.
wow.
I agree. Watch. Hear me out. I think Man City's obviously gonna attack. Leroy Sané's gonna be, the wingers are gonna go out and do their thing. But I don't know. I feel like Son's been playing nice. Harry Kane is
Scored that goal, right? The last game.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
nice goal over the way. He hit it with his left foot. I don't know. Something tells me that Tottenham's gonna be able to hold down the fort.
I don't think that's too crazy of a response because I do think Tottenham is a tough team to play. I really think it does depend on how fit Harry Kane is because I think they will need him when they go back to City, the Etihad Stadium. But I'm going to take City 2-1.
Okay. What about that Liverpool Porto game?
I don't even think we should even talk about this. Let's just go on to the next game.
All right. And what about Man U at the Camp Nou?
Man United.
Ooh, really? Camp Nou is the toughest place to play in, bro.
Yes, but I will never, ever admit to rooting for Lionel Messi or Barcelona.
I won't be rooting for them, but I think Barca wins. Barca dominated possession last game, 67 to 33.
But that's every Barcelona game.
I know,
not
That's,
surprising.
that's
I'm
the
just
way
saying,
that's their play style.
I think-
bro.
So imagine them playing at home. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
all over. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I think they got to limit Man U's shot attempts.
I think Leo Messi shits the bed again like he does every Champions League.
Ooh.
And
Now,
Man United wins.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Dembele's he's training again, so he might be in the squad for next week,
They're going to need him.
which would be nice. But the only problem I have is I hope that, we're susceptible to the counterattack. So I hope that, Langley and Piqué, they can kind of hold on the fort there with Jordi Alba and probably Sergio Roberto.
They're going to need it. Man United has a lot of pace coming their way with Rashford, Pogba, Lingard. So it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to rock with United pulling out the upset.
Yep. And then we get to the Ajax-Juventus game. What do you got?
Big game.
I gotta go with Juve. You
I
gotta
do
side
too.
with the best player in the world.
I was just about to say that. I don't think you can root against the best player in the world.
Especially not in his tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to argue against Juve. Like I said, Christie's gonna pull something out of his hat again, and he's gonna help him classify. I hope Ajax wins, but I think Juve got it.
Yeah.
You're so dirty.
Well, Ajax again dominated possession, 61 to 39, and they killed in shot attempts, 19 to 7.
If you don't
And
watch,
it was a tie game.
if you don't watch soccer, I definitely recommend you watching this Ajax Juventus game. Ajax plays phenomenal football, and they're very fun to watch.
Yeah.
So catch that game if you can.
They're
They
a
do.
good overall team.
Which is really quick. One of the players to look out for in that Ajax team is Hakeem Ziyech. He's a pretty good striker, a forward for them. So he might be trouble for Juve.
Yeah,
next game.
deadly left foot.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean that wraps that up, boys.
I think that wraps everything up, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Ton of stuff.
A couple heated debates there. My boy Paul
Yeah.
Pierce.
Bro,
I'm
you-
joking. He's not even my boy. I don't like
Yeah.
Paul Pierce. Just
You're out here defending this guy like he's your cousin.
he's not, and I don't even like the guy to be honest. And I'm a huge Dwayne Wade fan.
So
How could you
I
not?
just told you how self-centered Eli is.
But I
he just
think
likes to
Juve-
argue just to argue.
Yeah, Eli's just arguing just to argue, just
no,
to be
but I gotta
devil's
be.
advocate.
I gotta be real. I gotta be real. Paul Pierce was a really good
Yeah.
player, and I think
Real
Dwayne
ignorant.
Wade was great and better, but not by that much.
Let me just to top it off. Let me ask you a question. I just want a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Do you think what Paul Pierce said was valid or ignorant?
Well, that's not a yes or no question.
Or just, you know what I mean? Just like, just like a one-word answer. Valid or ignorant?
I don't think it's a one-word answer.
Valid or
I
ignorant?
think it was both. It was valid because if you're a player like you said,
Why are you
There's
trying to-
Eli
you
again.
gotta have that mentality. But it
Standing
was
on that
ignorant
fence.
because it was wrong. It was ignorant because it was wrong.
Ooh, he's admitting it.
I admitted it from the start. the
Okay, that's all,
whole thing.
that's all I wanted to hear.
All right, but it was valid.
See,
Shut up.
Standing on a fence.
He's pulling a
I
Nando.
learned from Nando.
Yeah, he's pulling a Nando.
Nando's the fence. Eli's standing on top of it.
Oh man, I think that wraps it up for this week, right? Anybody else wanna add anything in?
Yeah, let me just plug up our social medias
Yes,
one more time.
of course.
You can follow us at Prospect Talk _ on our Twitter and Instagram.
Yes. On our Instagram and our Twitter, in the coming weeks, we're going to be posting little bios of our podcasters. So us, just so you guys can
Get to know us a little bit
get
better.
to know us a little bit better. Match the voices to faces. We'll probably see the first one go up when the podcast goes up. So be on the lookout for that. That's gonna be pretty cool for the next couple of weeks. Get to learn how truly garbage Doug is. So
Oh, speaking of that, you guys have been shitting on me this whole bracket challenge time about how I had the worst lineup. I was literally, if Michigan State would have won, I would have won this bracket challenge, and I ended up being on top of Eli. So,
I love though how the word trash made you think of yourself in your bracket.
no, it's you trying me. That's where it all comes in.
listen, we don't live in the past here.
Doug,
No one cares
In
anymore.
the name of Fernando,
He's used to that synonym.
every blind squirrel finds a nut. Okay,
Yeah,
just think about that.
every pig's ass has to shine one day.
Yeah?
Oh, damn. All right.
Today's your day.
You're
Yeah.
the pig's ass.
Every day.
Congrats.
so shook right now.
Yo, he literally is just like shaking his head. He doesn't know what to say.
All right, I'm about to throw some hands. So.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, let's get out of here. Thanks for listening. Catch us next week. We're out.
Peace.
How's it going?